5 life-changing habits that will transform your world in 30 days. This is the question I'm going to help you answer. And with these habits, imagine if you were to do them over a whole year, how different your life could be. But even if you implement these 5 habits just over 30 days, your life will be completely different. I want you to stay through all 5 because the 5th one has had the single biggest impact on my personal life and my personal growth. So with that, the 5 life-changing habits that will transform your world, the first one being exercise. I have to start with exercise because that's been my base for everything. When it comes to discipline, when it comes to accountability, when it comes to success, exercise has been the base of that and it's taught me it all. It's also allowed me to get my emotions out in a very healthy way and helped me stay very stable throughout. With exercise, what I encourage you to do is find the routine that works for you. The best routine is the one that works for you. So for me, it's lifting 5 days a week, taking some intermittent walks throughout the week. On top of that, 1 MMA practice or 2 throughout the week. That's the exercise that works very well for me and has changed my life. For you, I think it could do the same thing. Find an exercise routine that works for you and it could truly change your life and it can be your base for everything. On top of exercise, one really easy way to incorporate this into your day-to-day is to take physical breaks. What I mean by physical breaks is throughout your workday, if you can, get up and take a walk. That 10 or 15 minute walk can make you feel much better, give you much more energy, allowing you to be more productive, again, changing your life. So that's the first habit, is exercise. Now the second habit that is life-changing is an emphasis on learning and personal development. Now what I mean by this, one habit that I do is I read for 15 minutes every day. It equates to about 1 book a month. So with this, you'd be able to finish 1 book in your 30 days. And if you're not reading at all, this can truly change your world. A great 2 books that I recommend you read is How to Win Friends and Influence People and Atomic Habits. If you read either one of those books in the 30 days, your life is going to be completely different. So read 15 minutes daily because it's going to allow you to get in so many books throughout the year and allow you to slowly accrue knowledge. 15 minutes doesn't sound that crazy, but you'd be surprised on how much you can learn with just a chapter of a great book. Now, on top of reading 15 minutes daily, also prioritizing learning skills. That's one thing that helped me as well, is that I started years ago learning about copywriting. And again, I only spent 15 or 30 minutes a day dedicated to understanding and learning this, but prioritizing these skills and prioritizing this education and continuous learning has changed my life, and it can change yours as well. If you continue to focus on reading and learning those skills, you're going to be very surprised how different you are even over 30 days and how much you've learned. On top of the learning and personal development, I encourage some reflection time for you. Now, this reflection time can be at the end of the day, before you go to bed, whatever it may be. I like to ask myself the questions of, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? And how can I get better? And when I look back at these things, it allows me to learn and change my behavior to be more successful. And it can do the same for you. And however you define success as well, being able to reflect on your behaviors and how you could change those to be successful and how you define it can be very helpful. So the third life-changing habit within 30 days is your diet and nutrition. The reason I bring this one up because it's directly correlated to your energy. When you're eating a bunch of sugar and a bunch of bad foods, I wouldn't necessarily even say bad foods, but unhealthy foods, you're gonna feel worse, you're not gonna be as proud of your body, and your energy is gonna be in the dumps. So having less sugar is a good place you can start. Eating high protein diet and good carbs, whether those bananas, whatever, just carbs that are less sugary can be very helpful in making you feel better and more productive. So I'd encourage less sugar, but on top of that, even maybe a more important factor is your hydration. How much are you drinking in a day? I read some statistic that about 75% of Americans are dehydrated, and I can tell you it's a huge unlock when you are hydrated. Again, it ties back to more energy, which you can then leverage that energy to change your life. I drink about a gallon a day and I feel really good when I drink that water. I notice that when I am dehydrated, how I feel. So incorporating better hydration can be a piece of this diet and nutrition to change your life. On top of that, one other aspect of diet and nutrition that you could incorporate is meal planning. Meal planning will allow you to save time and help you get in those great healthy foods that we talked about earlier that can help you feel better and be proud of the body you're building and how you feel. So meal planning, however that looks for you, can be another helpful piece to diet and nutrition that again can change your life. Now, the fourth step or fourth habit that is key to changing your life and transforming your life within 30 days is social connections. And I don't just mean any social connections, but I mean putting effort into relationships that you find valuable. What I mean by that is that let's say you have relationships you know that empower you and that cheer you on, but actually putting effort into those. That's one personal struggle I've had over the years, is that I have friends and people that do support me, and I don't put in enough effort into doing that. So maybe you need to prioritize that as well. Life can get very busy and that can be difficult to do, but when you leverage those relationships, those can have a huge change on your success. Now, on top of putting effort into relationships, I would encourage you to network. And I know everybody says to network, but what I specifically mean is that if you can, number one, find a mentor. Finding a mentor has been a huge change for me, and you can find one in 30 days, as hard as it may sound. What you do is you find someone about 1 or 2 steps ahead of you in any area you want to grow, whether that's fitness, whether that's business, whether that's your career. Whatever it may be, find someone 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, reach out to them and say, hey, what would you do if you were in my shoes? I see that you do this, you look really successful at this, and I want to work on getting to where you're at. Most people will talk to you. And I actually got the IBM guy who was doing speech recognition back in 1999. He was working on groundbreaking stuff, and his career has only continued, and he's a very successful entrepreneur. And I used the line of, what would you do if you were in my shoes? I got him on the phone and he gave me 30 minutes of his time where he shared some entrepreneurial advice for me. So it is possible to do, and that didn't necessarily turn into a mentor relationship, but I still got a lot of valuable information, and that information guided me on my decisions within that 30 days. So that being said, you can do the same thing and look at someone who's already doing, again, what you want to do. Now, on top of the mentor piece is look for like-minded people. Find people who have the same mindset that you do and want to have the same success that you do, because we've all heard the term that you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, and that is so true. So find people that are like-minded and help you, empower you on your success journey, however you define it. So that's the fourth piece, is network connections and social connections. Now, the fifth piece, and the one that I said is so important, and it really is kind of a mindset shift, is to challenge uncomfortability. What I mean by this piece and challenging your uncomfortability is I mean that I used to be socially awkward. I used to feel that I didn't know how to act around people. So what I had to do is I really had to challenge that uncomfortability, and I had to put myself out there to get over that. It started with me just asking for a spot in the gym. You know, if I was doing bench, I was like, hey, can you come spot me? I felt uncomfortable doing that. I felt uncomfortable bothering people. But I slowly did that, and I was like, okay, well, I feel uncomfortable introducing myself to people. So then what I did is say, hey, what's your name? And I just talked to people. Sometimes I got shot down, whatever. It didn't matter. I challenged my uncomfortability. And I know that's the social piece, but it's helped me just understand with my social interactions, just have fun now. And it's really changed my life. Now, on top of that uncomfortability with just the social piece, we can look at my wedding speech. I was the best man in my brother's wedding, and I gave a killer speech. Now, the reason I say it was a killer speech because I had so many people after the fact come up and tell me that. So I feel like I have some social proof that it was a really good speech. And so with that, I could have easily slacked off, put 30 minutes into it, read off a script, and call it good. But instead, I put in 8 to 10 hours of work to really challenge that uncomfortability of social speaking, and I did it to 300 people. And be able to understand that I'm going to put in my all and challenge this uncomfortability. And then I felt really good after that. Another piece of challenging uncomfortability was me sparring at MMA for the first time. Again, something that was very uncomfortable for me to go do, but once I did it, I felt way better. So this can apply to your life. If you have something that you feel uncomfortable, I encourage you to challenge that uncomfortability, push through it, because on the other side, you're gonna feel great.